What's going on, everyone? The boys of BRZN are back. Andrew, Liam coming at you. Wrapping up the Monaco Grand Prix.
We're so back.
We're so back.
We are so back. The boys are back.
I know it's going to be a little bit late to release this video. The Grand Prix was wrapping up about a week ago. Prior commitments from us.
Yeah. Guys, we are regular human beings.
Yeah.
We work 40 hours a week. We wish that this was our all-time day job.
That'd be incredible.
But it's not, so.
It's up to you, the fans, to make that a possibility for us. You guys keep watching.
Yeah. This is all for your pleasure.
Help us quit our day jobs. And
I don't like doing this at all.
And we can actually work for you guys and get paid.
Exactly.
Yeah, so we're going to wrap up Monaco, do a quick little recap about the race that happened. You know, Ferrari obviously having the troubles that they had. Preview next week's race at Azerbaijan, the Baku track. One of our favorites, I think.
Yeah, when we were doing a podcast at the beginning of the year, I think we were saying our favorite tracks, and we both came to the conclusion that Baku is like within our top three for sure.
Yeah. I mean that long straight at the beginning or end of turn one end of turn whatever it is going to turn one. Legendary.
Like going
straight.
down the main straight.
Yeah, legendary stuff. It's almost like a 2 kilometer main straight.
It's deep.
It's really long.
It's super deep. Yeah. No, it's cool though because then they go into turn one, seeing the cars being able to stop that quick.
Yeah.
And then, making that nice sweeping left-hand turn, and then they go, and then there's another back straight.
Yeah, and obviously in the past too, having the Red Bulls of Ricardo and Verstappen colliding going to turn one. Hamilton, I think 2 seasons ago, when he locked up his brakes going to turn one. Remember his brakes were too hot?
Oh, that was last year. That was last year. Yeah, they had the Verstappen safety car.
Yep.
Because he blew a tire on the main
That's
straight.
right, and then that allowed Perez to get the win.
And then it was a standing start.
Yep.
After the red flag, and I think that was the Verstappen. But there was another incident that happened. Was it Stroll? Stroll was out. Verstappen was out. There was another incident that happened.
Bottas, maybe.
Because there was only 2 laps left in the race when that happened.
I think it might have been a Bottas puncture. I believe.
Maybe.
And then, so I mean, there's a lot of drama going at Baku. Obviously, also the castle.
Yeah.
The little chicane there.
Yeah. It's an action-packed.
Leclerc has some troubles there in the past too. So we'll get to that. We'll do a little preview later on in the show.
Mm-hmm.
But first things first, Monaco. Initial reaction. What do you think happened?
Well, I woke up on Sunday morning and it was raining at home. Was it raining? It was raining at home on Sunday.
A little bit, yep.
It was, so then I was like, I feel like I'm in Monaco right now because we had rain.
We did.
There was rain in Monaco. And when was the last race in Monaco where there was rain? It was a while ago. Because that last 5 seasons, it was all nice, clear, usually blue skies in Monaco, but... Yeah, I was surprised to see rain. I was happy to see rain, honestly.
Yeah, like
I was not happy waiting 45 minutes for the race to start.
That's obviously frustrating.
Because I don't know why they didn't. They should have just started the race. Go out. Everyone goes out into the safety car, start the race, and if it's bad, red flag the race.
Yeah, I think they were just trying to avoid that from happening because I think the commentators even said along the lines like, if they were to start the race under, standing start or like a rolling start, lap 1 there probably would be red flags anyways. So I think they're just trying to avoid that from happening, avoid some wreckages happening early on in the race. Save some guys drive for that day.
Yeah.
But yeah, 45-minute delay.
It was a long time.
Rolling start to lead off the race too, kind of difficult for some guys to gauge, the track and overtake on lap 1. Monaco obviously not known for overtaking.
No.
Quali was obviously like the biggest. It was usually the biggest thing for Monaco is qualifying.
Qualifying, yeah, it's the most exciting aspect of Monaco because I overall the race pretty dry.
Not really
dry. But like overall, it's not much action happens. The most action we saw in Monaco was probably Pierre Gasly when he went on Inters on lap 3. Made 2 overtakes. So Daniel Ricciardo coming in after the chicane through the tunnel, and then on Zhou Guanyu before making that slow hairpin, the slowest corner on the Formula 1 circuit.
Yeah, and I think a few episodes ago we touched on other drivers and other teams being able to hear other team radios. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of the same thing with like tire strategy and like data, like just seeing other teams' data affects how you race. So obviously, qualifying. We'll just say real quick though, Leclerc starting on pole, the Monegasque driver, great for him. Really promising weekend for Ferrari, and then once the rain hit, there was I think some drivers did start on Inters to start off.
Did they?
I think a couple did.
Or was it Gasly? Was he the one that went straight to it?
Or maybe it was maybe it was just so early I thought he was already on Inters. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Gasly going on Inters in lap 3 was a game changer for the race.
Yeah.
Because you could just see the pace that he was picking up And by the time the race actually did start, the rain just stopped.
It did.
There's a lot of standing, like puddles in rain, or standing water, but the rain wasn't coming down anymore. So eventually the track was going to dry out.
Yeah, I agree. And then you even heard Carlos Sainz. He was talking about we should just go straight from wets to hards.
Yeah.
Or just the slick tires, right? Because I guess, in Monaco especially, it's such a tight space, right? Most drivers are going to stay on that one line,
the racing line,
right? And that's usually the dry line when it's wet.
Mm-hmm.
So for him to call out the hards or to go on the slicks, like that was a pretty bold decision.
Yeah, it took him some time to get there, but
yeah, because they pitted on lap 17, 18.
Yep.
So Perez pitted, they went for inters, and then Verstappen and Leclerc pitted lap 18 for inters, and then Sainz pitted also
on 22. 21, sorry.
Was it 21?
Yeah.
But Sainz didn't have a lap on inters. He did 21. He went right on slicks, and then that's when they double stacked Ferrari.
Yes.
And we'll get into that.
You're right
about now.
Yeah, so Ferrari kind of fucking up the whole thing.
They did.
Again.
They're digging themselves the deepest hole.
And
everything is on them at the end of the day.
A lot of the time, too, it's like when you try and be... It's almost like anything else. So when you try and be the smartest guy in the room, you look like the biggest dumbass sometimes.
Yeah.
So I think Ferrari, they're just shooting themselves in the foot. Like, they're trying too hard this season, I feel like, to make Leclerc, win.
I know.
Like, just let the kid drive.
Yeah, exactly.
He has the skill built into him. Like, he already has it in, his...
Yeah, and you guys have
not in his mind, right? To, be the, F1 champion.
Yeah.
And Ferrari just can't get themselves out of their own way.
No.
And we saw it, like you said, lap 21, Leclerc coming in for a second pit stop, because he did go to inters.
He went to inters, but
and then to dries.
In the video clip that I saw, this was the uncensored one, and it was actually hilarious. Hearing the Monegasque just swearing is so funny. What happened was, Sainz, in case everyone missed it, Sainz pit to go on slicks, and Leclerc pit also right behind him. They wanted to do a double stack initially, but I think it was the wrong call, and they knew it was the wrong call. So his race engineer said, stay out. Leclerc was already in the pit lane.
Deep in the pit lane.
Like, he was pretty close to their garage.
Yeah.
And you heard Leclerc. He was swearing on the radio. He was obviously very frustrated because he had the race win in his hand.
He did. He had it locked up.
He had everything. This is his home Grand Prix. He hasn't finished. What's up?
The only thing I'm thinking about, though, if he did not come in for that double stack, I wonder how much further he would have been back. Racing one extra lap.
With the wets?
Yeah.
Or the inters?
Because
I don't think it would have been that bad.
Because the Red Bulls came in a lap later.
Yeah.
They just
reacted to exactly
so
what
Leclerc would have came in at the same time as the Red Bulls on the next lap because they double stacked the right way.
Yeah.
So I wonder if he would have done the one extra lap on his inter tire along with the Red Bulls, where he would have came out if they didn't double stack in that moment. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if it would have worked out positive or negatively.
Well, I don't think the Red Bull would have reacted with a double stack if Leclerc stayed out.
See, that's the team strategy, right?
Yeah.
That's how
they would have probably just pitted Perez or Max and then kept one driver on track. But since Ferrari did that double stack, it gave them both time on the grid to double stack because it's all just made up time anyway, right?
Yeah. So
but then it comes down to whoever's pit stops faster.
That's true, and
especially on a track like Monaco, they were following each other at the end of the race for the last 15 minutes because we actually had a timer at the end of the race. They were like 0.3. They were 0.3 behind. All of them was just a train. It was a Ferrari, Red Bull train. Yeah,
between all four drivers, it was like a 2-second gap, in total. It was really, really tight.
That was cool at the end though.
It was exciting. I mean, any other track than Monaco, to see them still weave in and out of the turns as tight as they were, and to stay in the line,
it's incredible.
Obviously, assisting as a new racing technology and the new cars being able to follow closer. Mm-hmm. It was really cool to see that happening. Again, any other track than Monaco, we probably would have seen some more passing, and it could have been you could have been in first place, dropping to third at one point, coming back and retaking second a couple of laps later. Mm-hmm. We don't know how it would have panned out, but Red Bull, I think, again, just kind of showed their strength of strategy.
They're just absolute wizards when it comes to strategy.
And in the past, we've seen the Mercedes car been
the strategist,
the more bigger strategy team, and Red Bull was kind of falling behind, or Red Bull would try and do something risky and not have it pan out.
Yep.
Now it's Ferrari. Red Bull just staying even keel now. Mm-hmm. Perez being the first one to pit also for inters. I don't know if that was because he was higher than Max at that point.
Maybe, I don't know, but
in the race,
that whole race, it just seemed like they were on a completely different strategy with Max. You know what I mean? Like they more so usually it's a favored strategy for Max.
Yeah, you would think so.
And we're going to touch on this after in the podcast, but I think that the Perez win did have a lot to do with how the team didn't focus on Max's strategy. It's more so Checo, and he honestly earned that from Spain.
He did.
I think he did earn that. He earned the team. Now he has the team's trust. Right, he knows that the team is not just going for one driver. The team, at the end of the day, Red Bull, Christian Horner, they say they want to win championships. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter which driver is the driver's champion. He's like, it looks fantastic on Red Bull if we have our guys up there on the podium, if we have our driver as a driver's champion, and we have the constructor as a constructor champion. And
obviously, with Max winning last year, that was obviously huge. First Red Bull win since 2015, I believe, or 2014 for a driver.
When did Vettel? Was it Vettel 2013?
13. I think it was 13, actually.
13, yeah.
So first Red Bull win in almost 10 years. But what's eluding Red Bull is still constructors for so long. So obviously,
it's been a Mercedes power stronghold, but we have Red Bull up there right now in the constructors.
Yeah.
And even with their reliability issues, we're going to go back to strategy. They can still just pull it off with just as good of a strategy.
Right. And I think last episode we said how, Leclerc is poised to be an F1 champion, and now it's just, is the team ready for him to be an F1 champion?
Exactly. And this kind of goes to show how this isn't an individual sport.
Right.
Right? As much as people say, oh, it's the driver only cares about... No, it takes two to tango.
100%.
In the sport, absolutely. You need to get your team back. You need to get your team figured out. All their shit needs to be figured out before you can go and drive regardless.
Yeah, so for the guys to start out having... Leclerc, Sainz, Perez, and Verstappen, that's how the starting grid kicked off. But after all those pit stops on lap 23, the beginning of lap 23, we had Perez in first, Sainz retained in second place, Max up to P3, and then Leclerc down to P4. Actually, I think he was P5.
How do you go from first
He was actually
to
P5
fourth?
because Norris jumped him, but Norris didn't make his pit stop yet. So at one point, he was in P5 from pole position.
Wow.
So
I also want to mention, the Latifi and Stroll incident during the red flag.
I mean, just not doing us Canadians any fucking service.
Come on, boys. What are you doing?
Like,
and like fucking laughing stock.
I know the broadcast has to show it. But
It's
why
so bad. And then
is it those two guys?
The best part, they're changing tires in the pit lane. They almost hit each other in the pit lane.
I know. I mean, we gotta get these boys figured out. I mean,
Stroll's up. His contract's done this year. And
seems Latifi.
If they're both in the sport next year, I'll do a podcast naked.
Well, we gotta start raising some questions if that's the case, because
there's no how can they? Everyone knows it's a joke. Yeah. Everyone know that they're just totally incompetent to be drivers in Formula One.
I talked about driving craft and racecraft a lot on this show.
Yeah, zero craft.
It's really low. They're not craftsmen.
Zero skill.
No, they're not. They're not very good. And yes, we know the daddies have the big bucks for both guys. And a little Stroll and Latifi coming in and pumping the big money. Aston Martin coming back. Lawrence Stroll having a huge hand in that, clearly. Mm-hmm. But at some point, you just got to look at their race performance. I mean, Stroll didn't get out of Q3. Oh, sorry, out of Q1. Vettel made it all the way to Q3. I think he began the race
with a horrible car.
Vettel began the race in P9, and Stroll's out in Q1. How is that disconnect there?
Yeah, I don't know, man. It frustrates me sort of.
And it's not like Stroll is, again, he's not a rookie in the sport. He's been there 5-6 years now.
He's been around for a long time.
He had some decent results at Williams, and then obviously Williams went into this their huge decline.
Yeah,
and he left to go to Racing Point.
Yeah, and his dad bought.
He went to Force India, and then became Racing Point. Yeah, and then
his dad
Aston
bought
Martin
it,
now.
And then now it's Aston Martin. And
so you just gotta start looking at your actual performance as a driver and just say, why do we still have this guy around?
I don't even think they care about that.
They're
making so much money at the end of the day that they're just like, whatever. I don't care if I'm bad and I'm the laughing stock of the entire world.
But that shouldn't be your mindset, obviously.
No.
Money rules the world, but you can't just you gotta put some results out there. Bad. You got Vettel busting his ass, and
yeah,
I mean it's also
looking
kind of
homeless.
fun.
The guy, look at the guy. He looks like he's worked 50 years at Chrysler.
Yeah, seriously, he's a vet.
That guy's put it in. He's cashing out his pension. He's still working.
I mean, COVID it's kind of tailing off now, but I don't think he's got a haircut yet since COVID began.
I don't think he has either. It's horrible.
Seb, barbershops are open now.
Yeah, maybe he's one of those guys. I understand that there's a male baldness that happens a lot when you get older, right?
He's got the big comb over.
I think he's growing it longer so he can. Maybe he just can't accept the fact that he's going bald.
It's possible.
which is, I understand. Like, thankfully, we have good heads of hair. So for all
Speak for yourself.
For all you males,
I'm wearing this big hat for a reason today.
suffering through the baldness.
If any hair growth company wants to sponsor us,
formula, any hair growth,
here.
hey, Rogaine.
using of the Rogaine.
Oh man.
But yeah, like you said,
everything after lap 23.
very even keel.
That was just your regular Monaco.
Yeah.
Then we had the Mick Schumacher incident. Again, the Haas car just broke in two. They still haven't figured that out.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
I mean, Haas having their hot start to the
day,
year.
it's nice that he's okay. It was a pretty hard shunt.
Yeah, and we're starting to see, this is race 7, I believe?
Yeah, that was 7.
Okay, yeah, so that was race 7. So we're starting to see now the drivers and the teams really align themselves, and we're seeing where they kind of fit into the table.
Yeah.
The Haas guys, again, having a really hot start.
Kevin Magnussen's top 10.
K-Mag just killing shit.
The drivers.
Yeah, he is. He's actually P10.
That's so sick.
He's gotten all the points for Haas. I mean,
Haas has what, 15 points?
There. Yeah, Mick's been there. Hasn't been able to get results yet.
Mm-hmm.
Again, you can still kind of use the excuse of him being only in his second full season.
They're thinking
not
about
having much opportunity with Mazepin as his driver.
Haas might not re-sign him.
Possibly not. Yeah.
There's a lot of up for question. I believe it's Alfa Romeo, Zhou Guanyu is on the bubble. Both Williams drivers.
Both AlphaTauri
drivers.
Yeah.
Both Aston Martin drivers. And Haas Mick Schumacher.
Yep.
So we could see some, and we'll talk about Danny Rick after.
Yep.
But we could see some big shifts, big changes going on next season.
And this is kind of the time that we start to hear the rumor mill, get started. Yep. We have the summer break coming up, I think, next month, I believe. So it might be a few more races before the big summer break happens, where we've seen in the Drive to Survive show, there's a lot of canoodling going on.
That's when things happen.
In that 4-week break or whatever it is.
Yep.
You have guys like booking private flights from, Germany to Monaco for some reason and meet somebody, or you got, someone taking time off in Finland maybe.
No,
going to get a phone call to go to England to meet up with somebody else. So, we've seen it time and time again how the politics of the sport really kicks off in the summer break. And we've had major decisions coming out mid-season for the next season multiple times in the last couple of years. Yeah, no, that was big. I think the biggest one last year was George Russell.
George Russell going to Mercedes. Yeah, and that was speculated throughout the entire season up until what was it? The last 4 races.
It was confirmed.
It was like Brazil almost. Races. I think it was right around Brazil.
But I remember even in the first couple of seasons of Drive to Survive, I think George's rookie season is when we saw him talking to Toto. He was getting into Toto's car.
Yeah,
and having
get in my car. We're going to
he's
have
having
some
meetings during the race season while he's a Williams driver.
I like Gandhi.
Very sketchy. But I mean, hey, if that's the way the league wants to work, or
I guess
they want to do things, by all means. I mean, it's kind of is like tampering, like you see all the time in the NBA or NFL. You get teams get fined for tampering.
Yeah. That's true too.
They say, "Oh, if you have an owner saying we would love to have LeBron James on our team," you can't say that. you literally can't say that. They'll get fined draft picks or something.
Really?
In F1, it's
you can say anything.
They can talk whenever they want, and as long as it kind of stays hidden behind closed doors, it doesn't get out. Then I guess it's fine.
Well, after this race, right now as it stands, drivers we have Max Verstappen 125 points, Charles Leclerc with 116. Perez, 110. 6 points back from
that's wild.
Charles. Russell with 84. Sainz 83. Hamilton 50. We got Norris. Is that Norris? Yeah, yep. Norris 48.
Yep.
Bottas 40. Ocon 30. And Kevin Magnussen 15 points. That's your top 10. Constructors, we have Red Bull at 235 points. Ferrari with 199. Mercedes with 134. McLaren with 59. Alfa Romeo with 41. Alpine, Renault, 40. Oh, they're pretty close behind Alfa Romeo, actually.
Yeah, they're tight. But I mean, Alfa Romeo is all Bottas, really.
It is all Bottas, yeah. And then we have AlphaTauri with 17, Haas with 15, Aston Martin with 7, and Williams, Mercedes has 3 points.
Yep. I think out of all
Good
those...
job, Albon.
I think out of all those stats, having Bottas where he is, is
he loves racing.
He's
so much more happier at Alfa
That's
Romeo.
a key stat. Having George Russell where he is ahead of Hamilton is a key stat.
Yep.
And then from constructors, I mean, having McLaren being in P4 basically solely on Lando Norris's shoulders has like your fingers pointing at Ricciardo. And I think the biggest surprise team out of everyone though is AlphaTauri.
I think so too.
I mean, from what they did last season, and especially Gasly having a breakout year, 2 years ago winning Monza, last season, having it, go his way a lot with Tsunoda being a rookie driver. It was tough for him to break into the sport.
Yeah.
But this year, I thought AlphaTauri was going to be
stellar.
For
you had AlphaTauri like up there,
I did.
top 3 maybe.
I had them around the McLaren area. I thought McLaren might do a better
top of the middle pack.
Yeah, I thought McLaren might do a better showing this season as well. I thought they'd be fighting with Mercedes to get P3. I definitely thought
23
AlphaTauri
down on Alpine though.
I definitely thought AlphaTauri would be there in the P4 range, or even just putting more of a competitive fight towards it. But unfortunate because again they have the same power unit that Red Bull has. Red Bull's clearly doing a hell of a job in the race that they finish, and I just thought another year again with Gasly being like clearly the number one driver at AlphaTauri. Having something to strive for, maybe getting the next seat at Red Bull, which got shut down this weekend. We'll talk about that.
Checo.
But then obviously with Tsunoda having another year under his belt too, getting acclimatized to F1, the travel and all that, and just being like in an F1 vehicle. I thought he was going to take off this year as well.
Yeah.
And even start fighting for, top 10 finishes more often. But 17 points out of 7 races for AlphaTauri that's a little sketchy.
I hate to say it, but my prediction was Aston Martin up at the top.
Ouch.
I think I wanted it more than it was actually possible of happening.
Well, all the signs from last year were pointing that they were going to have a really progressive season this year.
Yeah, but now they say, it's going to be next year. It's going to be the year after.
Of course.
That's just your classic like car manufacturers guarantee, right? Oh, I don't know. Next year, don't worry. Next year.
Yeah.
But I really, to see them down there with 7, they're battling with Williams.
Yeah.
That's a blow. But I thought, Seb was going to just I thought he was going to have a good season. They're going to have a stellar season. He's not even in the top 10 for points, fortunately. How can you with the team that has 7 points?
Well, again, 7 of those points are probably from him.
They're all
I don't have the stats on me right now, but he's got to have at least majority of those.
Yeah, you already know how we feel about Stroll, so.
Again, we are Canadian. And we would love to see Canadian drivers take off.
I would love to.
We have 2 of them in there.
This is almost embarrassing for us now.
They're just not very good.
God, they're horrible.
We got to get our boy in there.
Who? Roman?
We
do got to get Roman. Oh, Roman's actually racing in Detroit.
Is he?
Yeah, this weekend, yeah. So we have in Canada and the United States, IndyCar is huge in the States.
Yeah.
It's big. So we live across from Detroit. We're in a little city called Windsor, and they have the Grand Prix, the IndyCar Grand Prix on Belle Isle. It's like a little island that's in between Windsor and Detroit.
Yep.
So they have the IndyCar races on there, and they also do different series, obviously, like they do in Formula 1. They'll have Formula 2, Formula 3.
Like the GP series.
Yeah,
and stuff.
GP series. So he's racing there this weekend. I think the race is today for him. They qualified yesterday. They qualified P2, I think.
Nice.
So they're racing there today, and then the race for the Indies tomorrow. It'll be that cool.
But
it's super cool because we can hear the cars go by like when our backyard's
we're close
here,
enough,
especially because we're right by the water.
What's his constructor? Like, what's his team?
Heart of Racing, Aston Martin.
Aston Martin?
Yeah.
I mean,
The Heart of
we're
Racing.
just touch on Aston Martin not doing so hot.
Yeah, I know, but maybe we got our boy in there, turn things around.
That'd be sweet. I mean, if he's starting P2 tomorrow, or today, that's pretty sweet.
P2 today, yeah. But they do it like, I think they have 2 cars. I'm not sure their whole setup. I think they have 2 cars, but he'll do like the 24-hour Daytona.
Oh, wow.
All that stuff. So yeah, it's pretty cool, dude. It's a cool series, and it's fast. It's legit.
Yeah, it's definitely a growing sport. I mean, F1 is obviously
the top,
the big one.
That's where everyone wants to be. But Indy's, dude. Those cars they're fast, man.
Yeah, North America. We've had IndyCar for a long time here.
They move.
I think the Indy 500 was last weekend.
Yeah, it was. Marcus Ericsson, Formula 1 boy, won it from Sauber Alfa Romeo. He used to race there. Yeah, he won it. He took home the Indy 500.
Surprise little win for him.
Yeah. He was. I watched him yesterday. I went there yesterday, and he went. I think he was in practice. I think he was P1 in practice time. So they have the qualifying today and then race tomorrow. Obviously, it's kind of like the same format as Formula 1, except they have Instead of 3 practice rounds, it's 2.
Okay.
And then qualifying, and then the race.
And speaking of drivers coming out of F1 to another league, Kimi Räikkönen going to NASCAR.
Kimi's going to NASCAR? What the heck
is up with that?
Oh my God.
Awesome.
That's bananas.
I mean, for him to... I didn't think he would come to North America because I don't think that really suits his lifestyle. He's very laid back, clearly.
Very Finland kind of person.
I thought he would just, go buy a farm somewhere and just,
raise a bunch
live
of sheep.
Live off the fat of the land out in Finland somewhere. But he wants to, still
Go
compete.
swim in some streams.
Yeah, he wants to compete still, and he doesn't really have anything to prove. Former F1 champion, world champion, but to get into the NASCAR game.
Yeah, and it's completely different driving.
Yes.
Completely different. Max even said, he was in an interview and it was talking about Marcus Ericsson winning the Indy 500. And Max was asked, would you ever race in the Indy 500 when you're done? He goes, no, I don't want to risk my life doing that.
Yeah, because they're cooking around those
like
corners.
240 miles an hour.
Yeah.
It's
crazy.
completely different racing. NASCAR is, I don't know, I never really got into NASCAR, but
a lot of drag on it, obviously. Like, that's the only way you can really overtake, because all the cars are very, very similar.
They're all it is a shell that's just they put on top of the car.
Yeah. So unlike F1 where you can change like the aerodynamics and the chassis and all that, as far as NASCAR goes, they're very similar. And it does come down, I think, to driver more, like driver ability.
It is, yeah, because if you're all given the same vehicle, it's the same thing. It's what I say about Lewis Hamilton all the time.
Yep.
As you can see right now, he's having a hard time in a slower car.
He is.
Ooh, imagine that.
Again, we're only about a quarter of the way done the season.
I know.
Or a third of the way.
I still don't want to count him out. As much as I don't want to see him win, I still don't want to count him out because miracles do happen.
Do you see a race win this season for Lewis Hamilton?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah. But you need both Ferraris need to be out.
I saw
and Red Bulls need to be out.
I saw just a little quick thing. It said that Mercedes vehicle will have upgrades and will be able to compete at Silverstone in the next couple weeks. That's what it said. It was like they're saying
I'm not discounting it.
They're looking for Silverstone as like their benchmark, like track that they're going to be able to compete at this track.
Porpoising was back at Monaco for Mercedes.
It was.
Did you see it?
They eliminated it for Spain, and then it came right back for Monaco.
We'll see. But you also got to remember, Mercedes is going to come with all these great upgrades. So is Ferrari and Red Bull. So is all the other, like McLaren, all those. They're all going to come with the same upgrades. Like I feel like once you're down in the pecking order at the beginning of the season, that's kind of where you're set. You're like, oh my God. It's a long road back.
It's a long climb,
right?
Yeah.
And every team, they're always doing improvements constantly. Every week, they're going to do improvements, right? I'm sure Red Bull and Ferrari, hearing that news, are going to bring some pretty decent upgrades to Silverstone.
Yeah, and having another week off, obviously between races, it's big. It's big for a lot of teams. And again, like what different tracks you look at, Monaco to Baku. Mm-hmm. Like obviously, it's still like considered a street track in Baku.
Yeah,
but you don't have a 2-kilometer straight in Monaco.
No. You
don't have the guys being able to make pass opportunities in 4 or 5 different spots.
Yeah.
So we'll see different setups from the teams next week at the Baku track.
I'm so excited for
compared to what they did now in Monaco. Clearly, again, Mercedes could show up a little bit better. They could have a quicker car. We don't know.
Yeah.
McLaren, same thing. Mm-hmm. And I think just to wrap up the Monaco talk, the podium finished off as Perez P1, Sainz P2, Verstappen P3, Leclerc P4. Obviously the biggest disappointment. Yeah, terrible. Again, he's gonna have to bounce back from it. He's faced a lot of adversity in his career so far, with having a good vehicle his first year in Ferrari and getting some race wins, to obviously having like just a failure of a season last year, to now coming back,
having a great car,
having a good car. Yeah. So
he has all the tools.
He's been very up and down his career for such a short career so far.
Yep.
But he's just going to grow from it. I know it's not what Ferrari, fans want to hear, but it's going to be a growing experience from him.
Yeah. I want it now.
I know. He's still right there in P2. Yeah, he had it locked in the first couple races of the season. Obviously, Max not finishing in Bahrain was huge for him to be able to jump ahead as far as he did. But now, again, we see Red Bull being more competitive. We see Red Bull being more consistent. Mm-hmm. It's going to be a battle at the end.
It is. And like we were saying, too, with Mercedes bringing those upgrades, I have said this whole time, I want to see a 3-horse race to the end.
Yeah.
That would be great. I think that's amazing for the sport.
Oh, for sure. And it just might happen that way. We don't know. I mean, by race 19,
we have
20.
so much Formula One left. So many things can happen, as we saw last year. So many things could happen.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. We'll get into some news.
Yeah, news topics.
So we have Ricciardo possibly out of a drive for 2023.
Okay.
I want you to take the reins on this one because you
Okay.
know about this a little more than I
Being
do.
like the resident Ricciardo fan.
Yep.
Wearing the shirt today.
Ricciardo.
In respect. He's had a tough time at McLaren.
Clearly.
And
I feel bad.
Not even just McLaren, but since he left Red Bull, when you go from leaving a world championship contending team,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously going to Renault and not working out, going to McLaren, who's a very emerging team, with the likes of Norris doing as well as he has, he probably had a lot more expectation that he was going to perform well at McLaren.
Yep.
Last season, getting a win at Monza was
The Monza win
was
awesome.
the highlight from McLaren in the last decade.
Awesome. That was awesome.
And
that was a real win. That was a real Monza
was.
win. I'll discount the Hamilton-Verstappen incident. That was still a McLaren win.
it was, because even at that point, he was still in the lead, I believe.
Yes.
So if those guys didn't wreck themselves, then sure, he's probably still could have won the race just like
Absolutely.
as it is. But
Absolutely.
him coming from such a high like that, I thought that was going to be like
The
a taking
McLaren
off
breakout.
point.
That's the breakout right there.
Yeah,
It's like the ceiling analogy where it's like this.
Busting through ceilings. Busting through. Sorry for the mic clap on that one. It's kind of loud.
Busting through.
Hit that kind of hurt. But yeah, I thought that's going to be the jumping point for McLaren and Ricciardo to finally say, okay, like I'm here. He said in his, his post-race team radio, he says like, for everyone who thought I was gone, like I never left.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he was
See, like-
confident as hell.
And he knows too. He knows he's not producing, and he's like, for all you guys that said I left, like, I'm back. I'm here. This is Danny Rick.
And again, like just having that come forward into this season, I thought, I mean, McLaren hasn't put out a vehicle yet, like really competitive.
No.
Like Norris is still an outlier at McLaren. Like he's still driving his ass off in the car.
Mm-hmm.
He's finding the corners. He's finding the extra speed.
Mm-hmm.
Ricciardo, for whatever reason, is still slacking a little bit. But what I was thinking about today, like Lewis Hamilton, Ricciardo has other ventures other than F1 in his mindset.
Yeah.
He has his own clothing line. He has a wine that he has now. He likes to, collaborate and like do music and stuff. He has other things going on outside the track that not many other drivers focus on. And I'm wondering if he's becoming a little too preoccupied, or if he's looking at his future past and F1 career and like what he wants to do, because he's still only like 33 years old.
Yeah, see, but I feel like once you get to that age, you're 31?
30.
30. Congratulations.
Thank
the
you.
dirty 30.
I made it.
We're here. But yeah, like once you get to that age, you're just kind of like, I feel like there's different things that you want to do. Think about how long he's been racing, doing Formula One, and how long he's worked and how hard he's worked to get up to this point.
Mm-hmm.
You got to remember, like, when we work, yeah, it's 8 hours a day, and then we go, it's our weekend time. We do this.
Yeah.
They are traveling all the time, constantly traveling, and then on the weekends they race. As soon as the race is done, it's like, okay, we got to go here now. We got to travel. So that takes a lot out of you, I would think, man. How do you really have any downtime? Like, this is kind of nice that we're able to do this. You think that any of those guys have any of this available in their schedule?
Yeah, it does. And it's almost like any other like profession. Once you begin doing something, like if you're in business and you're in marketing or sales, and they say, oh, we get to go fly you out to LA. Great. That's amazing. Oh, I get to go to Chicago next week.
For us.
Great. Amazing.
For us, it's awesome.
And it's like, wow, what a great experience.
Yeah.
But then once you start doing that
All
4
the
years
time.
in a row, 8 years in a row, now you're in your 12th year of doing that, it's like, I don't want to fucking go.
Yeah.
I
It's
don't wanna
not
do
even
this.
that. It's not like I don't want to do this, because I'm sure it's still really fucking cool. But at the same time, they're just kind of like, is there anything else that I can do?
Yeah, it loses its like...
It's taste.
Yes, that's a good word, a good way to say it. And I think maybe in Ricciardo's case, it's just he's complacent now. He knows that he's at a team in McLaren who are good.
Mm-hmm.
They're not the best.
But they're good.
They had
They're
again,
contending.
They had obviously a breakout year last year with them going P1, P2 in Monza. And again, I thought that would be a jumping off point for them. But for whatever reason, they've kind of come back down to earth. Ricciardo, I think himself, is back down to earth, saying, I am not going to win at McLaren, but I'm still going to do all I can. But I know deep down that I'm not going to become a world champion in my career. And
Maybe
that could
he's
just
accepted
hurt him.
it.
And that could
Maybe
be hurting him
accepted
though.
it, and that could be it too.
Like, look at Norris. Like, he's young as hell.
Yeah.
He's still got stuff to
And
to prove and fight for.
Yeah, and I would just hate for him to not sign with McLaren, but then he goes and signs with like Aston Martin or something.
I know. I think he
like
would,
your dreams are just at that point. He's just okay. I'm retiring.
Yeah, and
if I can't sign for the top 3.
Yeah, and it was stated by
and
Zach
Perez
Brown.
just signed with 2-year extension.
He did, yeah.
We'll get onto that after you're saying that.
Yeah, so I was gonna say like, Zach Brown did come out and say he was proposed a question like, what about Ricciardo's contract next year, because he is locked up for 2023, and he said something along the lines, I'm paraphrasing, that there's things in his contract we can work around to make him not come back next year. When you have your your team CEO, team principal saying that,
there's zero confidence.
Yeah, and like obviously Ricciardo saw that and he heard about that. That was during the Monaco weekend, so that's who knows how affected that.
With McLaren last weekend, there was a lot of drama with McLaren.
There was, and again, Ricciardo's going to take it for what it is, and I don't think he's going to give up on them. I don't think that's like in his DNA. I think he's a fighter.
No,
but it's got to come to a realization. Like I said, he's not going to become a world champion. And
that ship sailed as much as it hurts, but it's done. His Red Bull days are done.
If it did come out next season that he won't come back to McLaren and they say, hey, Williams is calling or, Alfa Romeo is calling, I think he would rather just hang it up.
He probably would. And I don't blame him for it. I wouldn't want to go race for any of those bottom of the line teams, especially if that's all you want to do is obviously win the world championship. But Seb's won 4 and he's like, okay, I'll go to Aston Martin.
Oh, and they're paying him.
It's easy for him to do that.
Yeah.
For Ricciardo, it's like, well, I haven't won anything, right?
Like I say, he still has things to prove, but he's not getting the opportunities to prove them.
No.
And I think he's becoming complacent, saying, okay, this is how my life's going to be. This is what I'm going to do. Mm-hmm. Again, he's working on things outside of the track.
Yeah.
So he's kind of setting himself up for his future outside of F1, which a lot of guys should look at.
100%. You got to think about it. You can't drive a race car forever.
No.
I'm sure they're set up pretty nicely financially. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, I would think so. But still, you retire from a sport at 35 years old.
Yeah, you got your entire
life. 50 years of life to live.
Crazy. It's actually crazy to think about.
I know.
Yeah, Perez signs a 2-year extension at Red Bull.
Yes, locks it up.
Huge for Red Bull, I think. Honestly, big for Checo too. It was awesome to see that win at Monaco for him. I think that was kind of the icing on the cake for him.
Yep.
I also heard like when they were going up to go up to the podium, the trophy ceremony. He talked to Christian. He's like, I might have signed too early, eh?
Yeah.
And then he was saying it was about the bottle of champagne or something like that, blah, blah, blah. It does turn out it probably was definitely the contract extension that they signed.
And shout out to the reporters who asked him about that right away, because they put him on the spot.
They did, yeah. He's like, and then you should hear him and Max are just kind of laughing and everything.
Yeah. I'm sure he got some PR training right before that. Sure. Like, hey, Checo, come here, say this. Yeah. Like, we got
like, hey, you spoiled it already.
Yeah, we don't want to get this out to the public right now, but
yeah. Yeah, and then so that's great for Red Bull. That's awesome. And then
not so great for Pierre Gasly.
No, not because he doesn't have.
There was a lot of talk that he might be able to go to Red Bull next year. No, there was some speculation.
There was some stuff, yeah, but that's not gonna happen.
But if you're Red Bull, you have to lock up
I honestly
Perez.
think Christian Horner's not a Pierre Gasly guy, like at all. I think he's just not a Pierre guy.
And we've said before how the Red Bull team in particular, they don't want to have a rival to Max Verstappen.
No.
Like, Perez he's showing what he can. Perez isn't driving any different than he ever has.
Yeah.
He's just in a better car.
Mm-hmm.
He's not reckless. He's not going to cause an accident with teammates or during the race or anything like that. He's not going to hurt his team. Gasly has something to prove. Albon had something to prove. Young, fiery, still trying to get their name in the sport.
Yeah.
Checo's been there for over a decade.
Yeah, he's so experienced.
Ultimate team player.
Such a vet.
I mean, we said it almost every podcast. He's a team guy.
He's that guy. He's exactly what Red Bull needs if they want to win a Constructors World Championship.
100%. And for him putting out the results like he has been, back-to-back wins, and back-to-back wins, right? Yeah, back-to-back wins
for Red Bull, yeah.
And ultimate team guy. The Constructors is Red Bull #1 priority, I believe, and only separated by 15 points, I believe.
With Max?
Yeah, 15 points.
Yep.
So, I mean, if Red Bull want to let their guys race and keep racking up the constructors points, they have to let them race.
And that sounds kind of like what Christian Horner was saying. He was saying that, look, we do have #1 driver. Max is our guy, but we're not going to discount Checo. We're not taking him out. He said we're in the racing business. We're in the business to win. It doesn't matter as long as a Red Bull is winning.
Yeah.
For them, as far as they're concerned, race. Go ahead.
Exactly, and that's how
it might not have showed in Spain, but. It did. It was nice to see them come back with the strategy change, sort of, where it was more favored for Checo. I think
Well, that
and
was
Jost Verstappen
yeah.
was not happy with that.
I mean, and in this case with Monaco, that's just based on track position. If Max
Exactly.
was in third at the time,
I'm sure that they would have went with Verstappen's
because
strategy.
it's Monaco. It's all about positioning on the
Exactly.
track. It's not about overtaking.
Exactly.
It's about where you are
Yeah.
at the time of a pit stop.
You got to focus on your number one guy, the guy that's in the front. And
Exactly.
Checo was in the front. He had a better qualifying session than Max, either way.
Yep.
So that's the way it goes. He was faster than him. And I honestly think throughout the year, it's going to get ugly between those two. I have a really bad feeling.
I don't think so.
I think Max, I think Max can't, obviously a lot of the drivers can't stand losing, but I think he just has that in him where, as you can see, he gets really frustrated on the mics, like when stuff's not working or something like that, when he's not getting his way, all that crap. I think that there's going to be a little bit of drama at Red Bull this year.
Okay.
I don't see that. My predictions.
I think
Not
Red Bull,
drama like Rosberg and Hamilton drama.
right?
I mean, like, there's going to be some. You'll see some words exchanged with the team if if they make a call like they did in Spain and pretty much just let Max win the race, or in Monaco where they sided with Checo because Checo was a faster car as opposed to your number one driver, and that Jos Verstappen, the whole quote saying that he didn't feel that the team was in Max's favor that weekend. Buddy, fucking shut up. Why the fuck do you even have a say in this?
Oh, because he used to be a driver.
Yeah, you used to be a driver. He didn't fucking win a world championship. He didn't do anything. Like, get out of here, buddy. No one cares.
Yeah,
like,
I
do you
like
really
to see that.
like? Why do these drivers like? Especially, who else has their dad with them all the time? There's one more driver.
Oh, Sainz.
Yeah, Carlos Sainz. I know. Yeah, that's cool. His dad was a rally driver. I'm pretty sure, something like that,
Yeah.
right? But like, why do you guys have your dads with you all the time?
Security blankets. You guys, they're still kids, man. They're like your age.
I know, but I don't have my dad with me all the time. Like, Dad, here, can you come?
Sean just like walks by right here.
Oh, hey, Dad, how are you? But yeah, like,
behind
it's
the
just like,
camera.
why do you have
dad.
your dad saying stuff? Like, who cares?
Yeah,
His
and
dad
that's-
shouldn't have to be saying anything.
That's got to come out of the Max camp to shut that down.
Yeah, like, Dad, you're a fucking idiot. Shut up.
Yeah, and we've seen it before in other sports, like LaMelo Ball's dad. What's his name? LaMelo and Lonzo Ball from like NBA. I forget his name now, but like he's in everything. He's involved with the team, and it ended up hurting some of the guys.
Yeah,
some of his kids. So like, yeah, you can't have your parents overlooking all your shit.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Like
It's
they
buddy,
have
just be quiet.
Yeah, the
Like,
team definitely has enough people in play to sort out your.
And at
your
the end of the day,
day-to-day.
do you think Christian Horner really cares what Jos Verstappen says?
No, he's just there. Like he probably looks over his shoulder and goes, "Oh, Jos is here again."
Oh fuck that dick! He's here again. For fuck's sakes. What are your Baku predictions?
Baku predictions. Whew. I mean, it's gonna be hard to discount Red Bull right now.
I know.
They've had success there before, but the one thing keeping Ferrari in touch is like their speed, just the all around speed of Ferrari.
Yeah,
and that engine is really really good this year. Leclerc had some troubles there in Baku before in the castle section, in qualifying, I believe, going out.
Yep.
So he's got some demons to fight when it comes back to Baku, but I think it'd be hard to discount Max from putting in a good result. I'm gonna say Max, Leclerc,
okay,
and I gotta go Checo. I mean, I gotta
go Checo.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Checo. I think he's on a roll right now.
I'm gonna do Red Bull 1-2.
Okay.
Leclerc 3rd.
Okay. So same top three, just different positions.
I think just based off of all the data throughout the last couple of races, the allergy season is so bad.
Yeah,
right
boy.
now.
If you
guys,
hear
if
me
we're
right now,
sniffling, sorry, but
we're outside obviously,
like,
but like the allergies are.
We're kind of doing it to ourselves here. But
Yeah,
at the same time, it's a beautiful day. It is bad. Allergies are horrible.
I'm sorry. I've been trying to not sniffle into the mic.
Yeah, but I was saying, based off the last racing, like the last few races, the data, Red Bull's been a lot faster on the straights. As we know, Baku has 2 very long straights.
Yeah.
So I think that those are both going to be very good opportunities for the Red Bulls.
But also strategy-wise, where do you want to be coming down the straight? Do you want to be in P1 or do you want to be in P2? Because if you get that drag behind you, get the DRS cooking.
See, I don't know. And I think that this is going to be a DRS game this race too.
I love it.
It's going to be so.
It's going to be the first test
so excited right now.
of the F1 season with the new regulations of a pure DRS. Yeah, battle.
This is the track where it should have been tested on, regardless.
Yeah.
I think that Baku should be a preseason testing track.
Because it's very
It's a high speed track. It's so high.
It's high speed, but it's also you do have like the tight turns of like the castle section.
It's high speed. It has every aspect of Formula One in it.
Yeah, it does. As opposed to
like
Barcelona.
Great track. It's fucking awesome. It's tight, really tight in some areas, like you said, the castle turn.
Mm-hmm.
There's a chicane. I believe there's a
It's after
hairpin.
that, yeah.
There's a hairpin too. Is there a hairpin?
It's like a wide turn going into.
Oh, that's right.
The last like turn before the street. It's kind of like a little wide one.
Mm-hmm.
And for the battle we saw between Max and Leclerc in Bahrain in their first race of the season,
Even in Saudi,
true, with like the DRS going back and forth.
Yeah.
That could be going on between 3 or 4 different vehicles going down that straight in multiple laps. Like I said before, you could have some guy going from P1 to P3 within 3 laps.
Yeah, I think
easily.
How do you think Mercedes is going to do? I think Russell's going to lock up another top 5.
I mean, why would you bet against him at this point?
I wouldn't. I'd buy him. I'd get him on my team.
He's been consistent. He's done a hell of a job. He hasn't made any mistakes. And again, I don't think kind of like Perez, he's not driving any different than he ever has. He's just in a better vehicle.
And you got to think, too, he was always at the back with the Williams, always battling with other cars.
Mm-hmm.
Him doing that now in the Mercedes, it's like, it really shows that the driver's skill craft. The driver's craft.
Racecraft.
The racecraft is coming out on George Russell. And he's, I hate to say it, but Lewis Hamilton has never really had to face the type of adversity that he's facing now. Maybe when he was racing with McLaren and when they had that horrible car. I think it was 2009 or something like that.
Before his World Championship.
Yeah. So you're battling with a bad car there, but at the same time, you keep blaming everything on the car. I don't see George really upset about it.
No.
I don't see him saying too much. I hear him saying, okay, guys, we're going to get there. Everything's great. It's going to be awesome. And you know why? It's because he's not expecting always to get P1. He's coming from the back. Lewis's expectations are P1, 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 P1. It's because that's all he's got for the last 6 years.
Which is tough to still have that mindset in the vehicle he's in.
It is. But then you see George. He's like, guys, this is great. Like, I love seeing this team effort. He never really badmouths the car. He doesn't say anything bad. And you know what? It's kind of going to show. Just drive the car. Drive. Stop complaining. Drive the car. Very
different attitudes on either side of the garage in the Mercedes camp. And I think we mentioned before how we think, which team is going to be the best. Like which, teammates, overall, like who's going to perform the best. Mm-hmm. And we had high expectations for Ferrari, but I mean, I think the experience now of Red Bull and like having a world champion last season with Max, carrying that forward, I think the momentum of that and experience is like really showing with Red Bull. Mm-hmm. Ferrari, for all we know, they could have a whole new like team like behind the scenes. We don't know. I mean, I don't follow who's coming out of the pit crew and whatever, but that Red Bull team has been together for so long now that they just know how to win, how to get it done. And Ferrari, they're still learning. Like, that's true. Like their vehicles there is better this year than last year. Mm-hmm. They have better drivers same drivers, but the drivers are more experienced this year than last year. But it's just not being perfected yet. No. And I mean, Red Bull, you can't count them out for the season. Mm-hmm. Mercedes, again, they can always make a comeback. We don't know, but
we don't know. There's so much racing.
Yeah, we can't talk about it enough.
It feels like we've been doing this for so long for some reason. I don't know why. Like, doesn't it feel like we've been doing this podcast forever?
It's only been like 8 episodes.
I know. It's kind of hilarious. Anyway, all right, guys. Well, we'll see you next weekend.
Yep.
Make sure you guys hit the like and subscribe button right down below.
Boom.
Also, follow us on Instagram, the BRZN F1 account. We have Instagram, Twitter. I don't think we're on Facebook. Not Facebook. No. And also, guys, if you want, leave comments or drop us an email for stuff that you want us to talk about on the podcast. Our email is brznf1@gmail.com. Till next weekend.
Cheers.